Yo, welcome to another episode of the Bjj Goons podcast. I'm your host, Tim, the Mushmaster Spriggs, and with me as always, every week is...
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Nico Ball, no new Nico. Glad to be back for another episode. Um, anything? I guess there's nothing new. There's no catch up this week. No.
Nah, there's no catch up this week. I should be going to an out-of-town trip. I cannot say where, but it's a top secret mission next week.
Yes. Oh, is it? My God, is it?
No,
Wait, that's another one.
it's
You have
another... It's
two
a...
top secrets. Tim always keeps secrets from me too. We were just talking about secrets. I thought this was a November secret. He's got October secrets too.
I got a ton of secrets. I I don't consider them secrets. Well, the one mission next week is definitely a mission that it needs to be secret and it's set in stone. It's in motion. The other missions I have that aren't really secrets because they're not set in stone and they didn't happen yet. But yeah, I like to keep things close to the vest. I apologize, but
All right, no problem. No
it
problem.
is what it is.
You know, that kind of aligns with what we're going to talk about today. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about representation in Jiu Jitsu. As many of you know, if you follow me on Instagram, I have been curating a list of BJJ thoughts. This could be men or women. I'm getting a lot of submissions of women. Um, but this led me back to some conversations in my DMs, just people giving me their opinion about what they thought. And it brought up an old school photographer in the game because that's just like near and dear to my heart, being a photographer myself. I know you've heard of him, but the person that we're talking about in particular is BJJ Pix. You've seen his actual photography right before he went crazy.
Yeah. I remember BJJ pics back in the early 2010s, back when Jiu-Jitsu was, the bubble had not gotten as big, and it was kind of still the infancy of social media. BJJ pics was the go-to picture place for jiu-jitsu, and they had a lot of very nice match photos. He's taken match pictures of me in matches before. The head of BJJ Pics, you probably know more than me, was William Burkhart. He was known for good pictures, but he was also known for straight up softcore jiu-jitsu porn type pictures, like just straight up smut, I would say. You know, girls with no clothes on besides their gi top type pics, that kind of stuff. Very risque. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but he was definitely a part of that side of the jiu-jitsu community. Very kinky.
Yeah, very interesting person. So like I never I met William when I moved to Rio in 2014. So I knew him personally when he was still just like a normal photographer. He wasn't getting into any of that sexual stuff. He would come to training with Talita Alcanyan. Um, and I just remember the two of them. I was training at Gordo Jiu Jitsu at the time, and I lived at Connection Rio, which is just like a block away from Gordo's. And he was living on the Ilha de Jigoya with Talita, I think. And the two of them never showed up on time for training. Like they were only purple belts at the time, and then like they were just never on time, never on time. They would never come for the warm up. They would always like show up late. Like Talita was really good at jujitsu at that time. I believe Talita was a blue belt actually, and William was a purple belt, but just remember thinking like Toledo was a lot better than he was. So he always kind of gave off that shady vibe, and like honestly, like nobody in Connection Rio really liked him. He was very arrogant. Like he's French, so I guess I hate to say, he, like kind of gives off that little
Yo,
like
I'm sorry. I was just thinking, this whole situation is not a laughing matter, but it's kind of funny to me because he's like Pepe Le Pew.
yeah, we call him BJJ Peaks. He's
He's like Pepe
he's
Le
really
Pew.
tiny too. He's really tiny.
Like Pepe Le Pew, a little skunky motherfucker. Yes. But continue, Nico. I'm sorry.
So no, he's just really tiny. He came out with like this really arrogant attitude, so he wasn't very well liked. And then just randomly, he showed up with two full sleeves of tattoos. and that was the start of like his like downfall of like him like, yeah, I got two full sleeves of tattoos, like start taking off your clothes, like like, and it was very, if you were like around him at the time, it was just like, where the hell did you get these tattoos? Like, it seemed like he was trying to be something that he wasn't trying to be.
Mm.
And then he started doing veganism, taking pictures about animals, doing all of this, very Roya-esque. From veganism, I went to save the chickens to free the punani. I don't know.
Um, I think it goes hand in hand. It's very earthy and hippie like. I I do recall that he took a break or he just left the jiu-jitsu scene to do these pro veganism photo shoots where he would go to slaughterhouses or these farms in the French countryside, I believe, and he would just take pictures of the places. But it wasn't a kind of exploitive, meet your meat type, PETA shit where they just show you gruesome stuff. It was very artsy like, and a lot of times there'd be girls in the French countryside by these farms, butt ass naked in pictures, if I recall correctly, right, Nico?
I never saw the farm ones, only the jujitsu ones. So that's why I kind of wanted to delve back into this topic. Because, like, especially with everything with sexual assault, sexual predators, everybody is quick to bring up TLI. Real quick. But they're also just as quick to forget about people like William, to get about people like De La Hiva. Like, I personally know people that went to train with De La Hiva for Nogi Worlds. So it's just interesting to see. So, like, my first question for you is, like, what do you think about women portraying themselves half naked in attire and geese?
I don't have a problem with it. I have no problem with it at all. Sex sells. And I think I'm ignorant to the fact and how is this going to move you forward professionally? How is this going to benefit you in the long run? What is your end game? Because if you want to get taken seriously, and I know this is going to sound bad, but if you want to be considered serious as a professional, whether it's jujitsu or shit basket weaving, I think that if you want to get attention, you should be aiming to get attention through your work. I mean, if you want to get on that way, if you want to get engagement, that's fine. I mean, there's plenty of jujitsu girls that have OnlyFans accounts, but I can probably name one or two, maybe, that have a successful athletic career. But as an opinion, I don't really think anything is wrong with it.
So you said like sex sells, but then at the same time, like you need to be good at what you do, like be a good athlete. And
If you want to make a career out of your jujitsu, if you want to parlay your jujitsu, like there's this girl that does jujitsu. I forgot her name. I just know her from her titties, and she posts on Instagram all the time with like these stoddy pictures, but she's not good at jujitsu. Like I don't know anything about her placements or anything, and people go in her comments like, "When are you gonna actually train? Like, why are you taking all these pictures with these geese and shit when you just show your titties on the timeline?" And she kind of gets indignant about it, but I think that's where the issue lies with people because you can't have it both ways. Like either you want to be, just say that you want to do OnlyFans. Make it clear. Don't straddle the fence. I'm sorry. Continue.
no, I just think that's a very interesting distinction that you made. It's like, yes, sex does so, but where are you going with this?
Exactly.
Where are you going with this?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's such a great point. And it's like, and I think especially for like the younger generation of girls that are coming up, um, that might be confused about like this whole, oh, everybody's getting into OnlyFans right now, and all the jujitsu people getting into OnlyFans, and all of the jujitsu people that are posting all these half naked pictures on the beaches, whether it's like actually trying to sexualize it or maybe they're just Brazilian, so like it's normal to be half naked on the beach.
Yeah.
But like when you take it out of like the cultural context, it kind of gets like hypersexualized, I think, a little bit. So it makes it a little bit hard. Do you think it's harder to respect? What if a girl was good at jujitsu but was also going that way? Do you think it would be harder to respect them for their talent in jujitsu?
No, I don't. I don't. I wouldn't find it to be harder. If you're a world class grappler and you just so happen to be sexy as hell and you want to show it off, I don't have any problem with it. You just got to be upfront about it. You know, I'll say it like this: there's a fine line between like OnlyFans girl type posts and I'm showing my body because I'm proud of myself. I'm not the type of person where I'm gonna show. I mean, maybe one day down the road, I'm not going to show pictures of me shirtless and just be like, oh, sex sells type of thing. You know what I mean? I'm not going to put up thotty pictures. It's just a strength of like, I work out. Maybe if I'm feeling myself one day, I'll flex on them. And I think women have that right too. I would have no problem, like, say, hypothetically, like, I don't know who, pick some world class grappler. Like, if, I don't know who, just pick somebody. Any, in your mind,
Elizabeth Clay. Look, are we talking about females? I just picked
yeah, let's just
the
say,
last one I saw, Elizabeth
let's
Clay.
just say Elizabeth
Who
Clay
apparently has a
started.
brother that looks just like her.
Wow.
Maybe they could do something together.
Whoa. Wow.
This
Wow.
is not a Patreon. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Maybe we'll-
They don't even let that on like the porno sites. And anyway, I'm totally thrown off now. Yeah, wow. You know, this show is taking a very like sharp turn for us trying to be serious to like, oh, incest porn. But anyway, let's say Elizabeth Clay were to do this, right? I don't have a problem if she wanted to be thotty on the gram because I mean, sex sells and you're really good. It's not like the girl that I mentioned before that is just, she's just trying to just use thirsty ass jujitsu guys to parlay this into her OnlyFans fame, and she's a poser. People don't like posers. Like the girl I'm mentioning comes off as a poser. Like, just stop posting jujitsu shit, fam. Like you're just using the jujitsu niche to get on, but like everyone's just like,
Just stop
you're just a
posting the jujitsu shit.
yeah, just like man, just call it what it is, like. Or maybe she should just say like I'm into the jujitsu kink, like watch me in a gi, just be half naked. But people don't like posers. That's the problem that people probably have.
You got to stay authentic. And one thing I like to say that, like, even though you say you would still respect them the same when you were given a name and potentially a situation or a mental image like of Elizabeth and her brother, you got completely thrown off and lost your thought.
Because I was just like, why would you say her brother? Like,
I don't know. Like that happens, I feel like, to a lot of people that would be in that kind of industry. It's like when you say why would you say a lot of things when you're trying to like qualify somebody for a job? Like you just get distracted. Like you might want to be looking at their no-gi matches and then be like, oh, I heard she did this or I heard she did that. So like
I can separate. A lot of people can't.
a lot of people can't. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like, I'm not like one of those people that's like has some like deep seated like hang ups about sexuality. I don't really give a shit. Like if I'm looking at you for your jujitsu, I can admire your jujitsu. Now, if you're hot and you got nudes out there, I can respect it, but I can separate it because I watch jujitsu for jujitsu. Yeah, I don't care how hot the chick is. If I'm watching your match and I want to study it, I'm gonna study it, and then like everything else, it's like when I roll. It's like if I wrestle a woman, she could be drop dead gorgeous, but if we're in practice, we're at practice, and I can separate. And I think therein lies the problem. It could be masculinity. Maybe you could say toxic masculinity, where men cannot accept women in male places without qualifying them in some kind of sexual way and like looking at it not through the male gaze but through a sexual heterosexual gaze, and they can't handle that, which is very disappointing, which therein lies the problem with the whole topic we're on with the BJJ thoughts, and that specifically heterosexual men cannot handle in their minds, if they're insecure, that a woman can be both physically dominant and a world-class athlete, and in a lot of cases better than 99.9% of the men out there, and still be sexy as hell, and then not want to fuck you, which that's a whole nother insecurity thing, because you got to think it's a lot of insecurity involved. If I'm a man that's secure about myself, I don't really give a shit if the chick's really hot and good at jujitsu. Like, and I'm not thinking about it like, pick me, or get mad, or just envious, or just resentful of the fact that she's sexy as hell and is a higher rank or just better than me.
Interesting. Did did you always have this ability to have this separation?
Yeah, I think maybe because I just grew up around a lot of women, and growing up in a household with multiple women, I understand the female perspective and the fact that I just look at jujitsu differently. I guess I have a healthy upbringing. I'm a well-adjusted man, and I can separate the two. And I'm just not like a weirdo, like weird sexual deviant in a way where I I have an ability just to separate the two. And I think a lot of that has to do with maturity as well and being self-aware. If you feel some type of way of certain things, you got to kind of look within yourself and say, why am I upset with this? Why is it there a problem? If a guy posts a picture of themselves without a shirt, risque or just flexing, isn't it kind of the same as a woman showing off her body? Like, if
That was something else I was gonna ask you. I was like, we talk about BJ thoughts, and we're talking about all these girls, but what about the guys? Can a guy not be a thought, or?
it can be a guy can be a thought. It's kind of different though, at least for straight guys. And you know how I just talked about the chick who's a poser that she kind of gets clowned because she talks about all this jujitsu shit, but no one knows her for jujitsu. She doesn't compete, but somehow she tries to link it because she's probably really desperate for OnlyFans subscriptions, and the only niche she has is jujitsu. I would compare that to how Craig Jones does this whole OnlyFans thing, and it comes off as one as insecure. I'm not insecure, insincere, and you kind of look like a clown and a poser because you look like a poser to OnlyFans people. You're just being silly, and it's ridiculous and it's absurd. So yeah, guys can do it, but I kind of would have a problem with that too because you're just being goofy. Like it's not even. I can't even take that shit serious. Like, what the hell are you doing this for? So men can be thoughts. I mean, guys are thoughts. Guys are men whores. I think it's different for heterosexual men because, I mean, I guess you could be trying to get the attention of the opposite sex by doing it. But a lot of times, guys kind of flex or show off for other men, but in a non-sexual way, more of a I'm insecure way, or in a I'm peacocking and I'm trying to exude masculinity and dominance. Oh, I'm better than you. It's a dick measuring contest, so it's different.
Mhm. I understand. I feel you. I I've seen a little bit of that coming on with some people that I work with. They had like a female in common, like just a fun female, like on the
Eskimo
side. Like
bros.
yeah, yeah. But one found her on Tinder recently, and the other had found her before, and then one found out, and then it was just weird. And then they had they had to roll together for like 25 minutes, so it was definitely like an awkward
Oh,
thing.
hold
And
up, hold
then
up, hold up.
this girl didn't even train either. This
So they're just mad about being Eskimo bros.
yeah.
That's a lot of toxic masculinity and security. You should be able to handle that like a gentleman.
I mean, and yeah, and I think on top of them being Eskimo brothers, when the first one found out, he re-entered into contact with the girl. That would have been the issue. Not that it happened again, but that he out of the blue reached out to her.
Oh, it's like I don't want this cupcake, but now that I see that you have the cupcake, I want the cupcake again.
I don't even know if he wanted her either, or just to stir the waters. Like he'll actually deny knowing that it was one and the same girl, but it's just like random. Like it's just random. So a whole lot of drama going on there. The good thing is that like she doesn't actually like train at the gym because they always like say like, oh, she's like a kind of a party girl, like as if that we're okay. And it might be okay if that's what you're into, but I think that if all three of them had been training together, that would have just caused like a lot more issues in the
Someone's got to
training.
leave.
Hmm.
Someone would have to leave.
Yeah, like for me, like personally, I don't mind BJJ thoughts. unless like they personally like impact like my own training per se. It's like I don't want to feel uncomfortable on the mats, like especially if it's like some horny little boy that's like seeing this half naked girl and doesn't know how to control himself, because unfortunately those horny little boys are my size. Like those like 13, 14-year-old boys that might not know how to control themselves.
Yeah, yeah.
Those are my size. That's kind of awkward. Especially with the game that I have, I don't want to be anywhere. Uh, so it's like I always want to feel like safe and secure in that sense. And the other thing is like when the thoughts are actually like I don't want us to have to like I'm a very serious person in the first place. It's like I come to training to train and I have multiple jobs. Like I'm not here to take your thought pictures for you. Like don't ask me to take your picture after training, please. Like
Oh, wow, yeah.
or not train because you're talking to like guys. That annoys me. Like when my training partner is just like clearly not focused on what they're doing because they're just there to be like fucking around. But apparently from instructors that I know, like work at random gyms in DC, like there is a whole type of girl that just goes to the gym to sleep around.
I think that's a lot of subcultures where people just kick it just to get laid. I have a good friend that is a part of a car club, or yeah, a car club, and he's like, yeah, you know, I have a good time. I just mess with car whores, and I'm like, what's a car whore? And it's like basically, and it could be a man whore too, but this is very well. It's okay. I don't think I'm gonna get canceled because I have a female co-host. But he says basically car whores are chicks that go after guys with the cars, and they go to different car clubs, and that's how they meet dudes. Like that's their thing. And I think the same thing goes for people in jiu-jitsu. There's BJJ thoughts where people just go there to fuck around, and I can kind of see how it would affect you as a woman because it's already hard enough to find female training partners. Then it's hard enough to find female training partners that are decent or train consistently. But then you got somebody that comes in and then you're trying to get work in because you are a smaller woman and you are a woman and they're just there to just fuck the whole team. So that's kind of like very disappointing from a female perspective. If I would, I'm assuming I'm not a female, but am I correct in assuming that?
It's definitely disappointing. It's definitely. And yeah, it can be an interesting vibe on the mats, but I feel like I don't know, you just kind of manifest what you want, like, and it's been so long now since I've trained on like I guess like a normal jujitsu class, and not to, well, I just gravitate towards better environments, I guess, because I'll go to 301 like in MMA in Maryland, and I know some people from our team will teach there, but they have like a great group of girls that's great for me to train with for open mats. Um, their guys are pretty cool. There's a lot of people, and like their coach like keeps them in line. Like that's good to always know. Or like I train at like private jujitsu clubs where like I am the only girl, and like that's why I was cricking out on that Karen who had an opinion to give her opinion on my safe space when you don't know anything about it. But it's very easy to just kind of gravitate into areas that you feel better, like avoiding people that you rather wouldn't see, like all the smack talkers that Tim is actually getting into. So we're actually gonna slide off of the foddery. We do want to hear your opinions on these topics and like what representation in jiu-jitsu is. That's why I have been curating that list. Again, it is not a spank bank. We are actually going to give examples of representation. What is good representation? What is bad representation? Is this a thought, or is she actually doing legitimate BJJ drills? We want your opinions on that. That's going to be on the town hall, hopefully on October 26th.
Oh yes, and I have a list. Oh, I sent you a little behind the scenes. I sent Nico these promotions for
He found a whole
grappling super.
federation.
There's two. There's two, right? I sent you both. And there's a fine line. It's like it's a fine line between art and pornography, or pornography and smut. And there's like a fine line between representation and exploitation. So yeah, I think that's gonna be very good for the show. But yeah, man, it's just it. My friend Carrie Chandler, who is a judo black belt, great judo coach, and her friend Nick Del Populo, they explained to me about like the Olympics and like the whole, you know how people sleep around at the Olympic Village, right?
The testosterone and like.
It's because think about it, and they're not saying, I'm not implicating anything. They were just explaining it to us when we were like 10, 11 years ago about what it's like in the Olympic Village or how people get down. And they're like, a lot of people will give their significant other a hall pass because when you go to the Olympics, it's a bunch of, for the most part, young, athletic, filled with testosterone and energy people that are good looking, in shape, prime of their lives. And they just had the highest of highs, the lowest of lows, and they're all clustered in a small community there. People are going to sleep around. And that's what it's like in jiu-jitsu. A lot of, and
A lot of tension, a lot of emotions, a lot of ups and downs, big checks, little checks, money lost. We travel a lot. Traveling alone really sucks.
oh man, like them trips, man. But anything else you want to add, Nico?
Yes, I have one more actually current events jujitsu. This was jujitsu related. So I saw today, I know you've been calling out two people. Gordon Ryan has taken an exhibition match.
Yes.
And the next Who's Number One on October 20th. I wanted your opinions on this. I know things are in the works for you. I'm just going to start with the works thing because I don't know what you can say, but what is your opinion on this exhibition match when you want to fight him?
Well, as far as the exhibition match is concerned, it's Gordon Ryan versus Philip Rowe. Philip Rowe is a professional mixed martial arts fighter. He is signed to the UFC. He's a new signee to the UFC. And, I like Philip Rowe. I've known Philip Rowe for a very long time. We actually talked recently about the match, and I'm congratulated him. I'm happy for him. It's a great opportunity to get his name out there and just show how diverse his martial arts skills are.
Oh, you know him personally.
Yeah, I know him. I know of him. We know of each other. Like, we've talked online for a long time. And I think that it's great for him. As far as Gordon Ryan taking the match, I think that he's just fooled y'all, man. Like, I'm just gonna keep it a buck. This guy claims that he's too sick to take on elite people. He's too sick. He's near death. He's acting like he's Tom Hanks in Philadelphia. If you don't get that reference, you just Google it. But he's healthy enough to take on an exhibition match in which, no matter how many times he submits or gets submitted, he's going to have to continue to grapple for 15 whole minutes. And he's definitely getting paid to do it. He's using all this opportunity to have an exhibition to show off his escape systems because he wants to have an escape DVD. So that entails that he's going to put himself in precarious positions against a professional grappler.
Again, like you said before, where are you going with this? Where are you going with this? So you're saying like he's entering this very intentionally to put on a show so that he can then release a DVD.
Absolutely.
Very interesting. And I guess nobody actually buys DVDs anymore.
No, but apparently the guy is rich enough to live in Austin, Texas with all the instructions he sells. Regardless,
I don't think that's a matter of being rich enough to live there. I think that's a matter of going to the place where like Flow Grappling can just call you in. You can get that check. Like,
I think it's a money grab.
Oh yeah. The exhibition. Yeah.
I believe it's a money grab. I think it's a way for him to continue to be in the public eye. And from the other side of it, I say that he's just being just typical Gordon Ryan, typically disrespectful. And although he may be an idiot, the general public are not idiots like him. We're not dumb. We all see right through it. We see that this is just a way for you to prolong your time on quote unquote top. You are doing what you've always done. He's doing what he's always done. He's just trying to make it so everyone just takes each other out, all the top guys in the world, so he can protect his imaginary number one ranking, which doesn't amount to anything because we had an event called Who's Number One. He had ample opportunity to go, but he said he had a tummy ache, so he couldn't do that event. But he's healthy enough to go against the guy
Tummy aches
for
are very
15.
popular.
Yes, to go against a guy that is way smaller than him. Philip Rowe fights at 170 pounds, and he doesn't have any credentials, at least at the elite level in grappling. He is a strictly mixed martial arts fighter. And I wouldn't mind him doing the money grab. I would still clown him regardless. But my issue is, why on earth would you say before Who's Number One that this is the interim belt? Well, I'm going to say it again. Interim D's nuts. Because if you really feel as though that's the interim title, if you really feel as though it's your crown, which I pointed to and lifted it up above my head and put on my head after I finished Kind Duarte, a guy that you've been ducking for a year and a half and was at the time the best pound for pound heavyweight also in the world, why wouldn't you go to get your title back? If you're really out of the game and you're too sick to compete at the elite level, why even try to take elite people's shine? Why even have the exhibition? Why put yourself out there? And why would you run your big ass mouth? What is it?
Maybe he is broke. Maybe, like I said, he needs to be in Austin for all those opportunities to catch a check.
But here's my issue, Nico. You're talking all this garbage to me. You're talking like a man that's not retired. I'm the one that was retired. I'm the one that was training 3 times a week on average to prepare for the biggest tournament, and I finished the guy quicker than he did. I finished the best version of Kynan, the most recent version of Kynan, and I finished him in quicker time than Gordon did back a few years ago when that was baby Kynan. Kynan before all the accomplishments at black belt. And then he goes on my Instagram, he's running his mouth talking about Kynan sucks. No, Kynan doesn't suck. If you look at Kynan's career, he's kind of had a better career than Gordon because he's done it in the gi and without the gi. Gordon is a specialist, and a match with me and him is going to be tough for me because that's all he does. That's all he's ever done, because he realized that doing both is super hard and that chances are he's not going to be able to be the guy in gi, so he's just going to cut his losses. And he always cherry picked. When he got famous for challenging Keenan, he cherry picked on Keenan because he knew that Keenan was not good with the leg locks. He's a trickster, just like Jake Paul is. He's a troll and a trickster, and he's going to put you in a situation that benefits him. And he's able to trick his little incel racist troll fans that just ride his nutsack from here to Mars and back again. But he's not going to fool me. He's not going to fool the true fans and the true martial artists into thinking that he's just going to slide through. Like I said, Nico, this is a money grab and it's cute. But since he doesn't want to be in the elite conversation, fine then. I'm still considered the best in the world. Another thing too, if I'm not elite according to Gordon, why doesn't he have a match with me? If I'm such a bozo, if I'm just a hobbyist and we're having matches with hobbyists or guys that aren't elite grapplers, why won't you accept the match? It's very silly. Don't you think it's silly, Nico? Isn't he talking out of both sides of his mouth? A guy that says he's as smart as he is.
It is, which is why, like, I thought it was interesting to see that he was taking an exhibition match when I thought we were trying to, like, hash out some actual matches. But, I mean, I think if it wasn't Gordon Ryan, if it was, like, maybe your average jiu-jitsu person, like, you know, trying to go for an exhibition match for some cash in these hard times, wouldn't be, you know, something to speak ill on. But since all he does is talk like he is on the top of the world, you really need to be performing at the top level and, like, you know, not dancing around it.
Ain't no such thing as halfway crooks.
Nope. But some real some real matches that you'll be able to see on the same card are Bia Mesquita versus Luisa Montero, Fionn Davies versus Natalie Ribeiro, Levi Jones versus Oliver Taza, which should be a great match. Mikey Musumeci with his little monkey feet, as Ali was saying, versus Richard Alarcon. And then we have some prelims that they have on their Facebook and their YouTube for all of you guys that will not pay for Flow Grappling and don't have enough hustle to figure out how to get your own access. Shame on you. Shame on you.
Shame. It's going to be a good card. I like where Jiu-Jitsu is going. I like the format for Who's Number One. I can't wait to watch it. You know what we should do? we should do a live watch along for this event, more specifically this exhibition. Maybe, just maybe, Flow Grappling will fly me out so I could do some commentary. Since
Yeah, I know,
everyone,
after that killer interview.
yeah, I know, right? Like, I am the top guy in the
Sorry,
world.
Kendall. Like,
Sorry, Kendall. I'm
you do a great
sorry.
job, but Tim's just
Affirmative
number
action.
one.
Affirmative action. God damn it. Affirmative action. You need some brothers out there, man.
God,
They
representation
listen.
really does matter.
Hey, real talk. They mess around and let the goons in the dough.
Representation matters.
They should never
But
invited
that
me to
would
that
be
tournament.
awesome. Yo, imagine you commentating on Gordon Ryan's match.
Yes. Maybe a post match, face to face. Who knows? We do not know. Anything is possible, Nico. If the last month of my life has shown me anything is possible.
Yo, Tim Spriggs for commentator. Hashtag Tim Spriggs for commentator. I need all of y'all to go over the Flow Grappling's page, tag them, mark them, put it in your stories. But Tim Spriggs needs to be commentating this Gordon Ryan exhibition show.
Yes, please. I love a good shit show. Nico, do you have anything else you want to talk about this week?
That about wraps it up. You got any wisdom for us today, or?
My black belt wisdom for the day I'd say be patient. Be patient. Like I just mentioned, this last month of my life has been a huge change. It's been insane. And I would have never guessed it. And it's all because at a certain point, I just was patient with it. I just let it go. I wasn't forcing it. Patience is important in martial arts, especially jiu-jitsu. You got to be patient and wait for the right time to strike. But as far as a career or your progression through the belt ranks, you have to be patient and continue to plug away because you don't know when the universe will conspire to give you what you want. You don't really know when your opponent will give you that opening. All you can do is be focused and be ready to strike when the iron is hot, and you will find success. It's not going to happen the way you think a lot of the times. It's not going to happen when you want it to happen. But when it happens, just be ready. So that would be my black belt wisdom for this week. And before we wrap, I just want to give a shout out to two of our sponsors, Blue Edge Business Solutions. Don't forget to check out our friends at Blue Edge Business for all your digital marketing, web development, and graphic design needs. They can help you with anything from Facebook and Google ads to website and landing pages. Tell them I sent you for a special discount. These are the people that helped me out with Tim Spriggs BJJ. And when I won Who's Number One, I had to thank, and I will always thank, John's Fit Meals. Go to johnsfitmeals.com. They're a meal prep service. They cook the meals for you. They put them in a nice container so that you can freeze them or put them in the refrigerator, and you have your meals planned out for the whole day, the whole week. It's super easy. And if you are a grappler that has a job, if you're a hobbyist like me, little old me, you know how important it is to have a lot of time on your hands, or cut out the amount of time that you need to spend on cooking and all that other BS. You got to get shit done. And John's Fit Meals helps you with that. Go to johnsfitmeals.com. Use promo code GOONS for a very special discount. Nico, where can we find you?
All right, make sure to follow me on Instagram at NoNewNico. Also, check out favelajujitsu.com. We're going to be dropping some new stuff coming up soon. It is fall. We're restocking hoodies. I am actually getting more tank tops too. Not tank tops, t-shirts and everything. So we're going to be making some new drops of some new collections. So make sure to go to favelajujitsu.com for that.
You can find me at timspriggsbjj.com. I teach virtual and in-person private lessons. I create game plans for you in the form of a flowchart where I watch your match footage, I find your best techniques and positions and make a game plan for you. And I also do match critiques where I watch your match in real time. I'm going to be your jiu-jitsu John Madden. I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do from those positions in the match and what to do moving forward. For both my match critiques and my game plans, I have a footnotes page I send you with actual video examples of what to do. Guys, thanks again for watching. Thanks for all the support. Also, thank you to our patrons at patreon.com/Bjj Goons, where you can get bonus episodes, where you can get exclusive content like our match critiques, like our techniques where I show moves. It's all for the goons on patreon.com/BJJ Goons. This has been the BJJ Goons podcast. Thanks for watching. Peace.